Hi, this is Cheryl back with you from Farmhouse Frugally, and today we are working on some Christmas angels. Seen my recent video making acorns out of these beautiful colors of wool roving that I have. So I thought today that I would use some of this to make some Christmas angels. Now the first one is going to be rather larger than the rest, and what I'm doing here is just simply taking some of the cream colored roving and forming a basic head and body style here of the angel. I'm just going to pull off some of the bottom here and make it wispy, and then at the end I will go through and brush it. I am fortunate enough to live near several farms, so I can get alpaca or sheep rovings. You can get it on eBay or Etsy if you just search for wool roving. And it comes in all kinds of colors. It can be naturally dyed or chemically dyed. And here I have some blue, and I am just going to use some of this to make the wings for the angel. So I'm just parting the two pieces of the angel body and putting that in between, and then I'm going to tie off at the waist so that these angel's wings will stay. I'm just trimming that off, and then once I have the basic shape of the angel that I'm looking for, then I'm going to go back to some of the yarn that I had spun from some wool, quite a few years ago at this point. For this angel, I am taking some brown yarn. I am winding it around my hand several times and then cutting it off so that I have hair. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue some of that right onto her head. And then go ahead and cut some more and glue that to the back of her head. And I'm also going to give her some bangs. So you can play with this any way that you like to do a hairstyle. You can make a bun, which I will do. You can braid it. Just any number of ways that you can make these little hairstyles, but ultimately the way that you like it, you're just going to go ahead and glue that hair right on. And then I tack a little bit down to the side of the face to make that just stay, be simple. I added a hanger in the back so that it could be hung either as a Christmas ornament or from a wreath. It's a little large for an ornament, but there are many things that I could do with it in the future once I pull all of my Christmas stuff out. Once I had that all fluffed and glued down and trimmed, that is all that I did for this beautiful little angel. And I hope that you like this one. Please give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this video, which is also part of a collaboration. And I will link these three lovely ladies' channels as well as all the others who are participating in this playlist in the description box. So please check that out. Now the next two angels are going to be somewhat similar on a smaller scale, but for these I'm using an acorn as the head. I want to make sure that I get this nice and rounded, and I want to keep it small. It's just a little bit easier to do. Now for this one, I do a similar thing as I did with the first one. However, first of all, I'm using some pink roving, and secondly, I decide to go ahead and glue the roving directly to the angel body here. I did make a little bun out of some yarn here, and I am attaching that directly to the top of the head here, squishing it down first to make it a little bit less bulky. Doing a similar hairstyle to the first one, making some long hair, adding a bun to that, fixing it in the back, adding a hanger, and then moving on to the next one. The next one I'm making the same way, so I will skip through the body part and head right to the next part, where I am adding this very beautiful green color that I just picked up for the wings. And then I made this rusty colored yarn a couple years ago, and I thought the color combination here was lovely. So I am giving this angel some reddish hair and just gluing that down and fluffing that out. I gave her some long hair in the back, and then I went ahead and trimmed that down. And then I took my own hairbrush and just brushed out the body of these angels just to get that a little fluffy, and then I'm using glue in the center to just sort of connect it to look a little bit like a dress without tying it off. And I did that for both the body and the wings on these two. And then once I had that the way that I wanted it, I added a little hanger to the back so that these could be used for Christmas ornaments. And I think these are absolutely adorable. The hot glue gun and the fiber, do make a bit of a mess with one another, so you want to be careful. And you could certainly use the little finger protectors too if you're concerned. I have mine on low temp. But this, I think, is beautiful. So drop me a little angel and let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks. Especially if this is something that you think that you might like to reproduce. And then that takes me on to my next angels. I had a old magazine rack, and it had these gorgeous spindles for legs, and I had used one in a project for my pumpkin stem, so I had 3 left. So today I found in my stash that I had 2 wooden hearts from the Dollar Tree that I've had probably in there for quite some time, and I decided that these would make very nice wings. So I am just taking my antiquing wax here and waxing the entire back and most of the front, leaving myself a little area to glue the spindle body directly to. And then once these are finished, then I am going to go ahead and I'm going to glue some hair on this one as well. I did touch up the areas behind the angel so that if it's seen from the side, you won't see the raw wood. Now, I am in my roving. I had some sheep fiber that had not been combed out into rovings, and it's still kind of curly, so I thought that this would kind of be cute. It's a little in the gray side, so I think my first angel here might be a little bit on the elderly side, which is perfectly fine. And then I just attached that in the front and then added a little bit more to the back to give her, just in case you see that ornament from the back, I like to have the hair also in the back. And then on the next one, this is where I took some of that reddish color yarn and decided to go ahead and make 2 braids. So I tied off the area on the top to keep that straight. And then I braided both sides, and then I just glued the whole thing onto the top with some bangs, and then I did tack down one side to the body and let the other one go free, and then I added some twine hangers to the back of the wings just by knotting both ends of the twine and gluing that, since these don't really weigh anything. And then I went through my stash to see what I might like to do to embellish these two once I got the hangers added to the back. And that is all there was to these. If you have any spindles, I highly recommend that you go ahead and make something like this. These are going to be great ornaments of the Christmas tree or package decor or gifts for friends. So I am really enjoying these. And let me know what you think about these. You could add lace clothing. You could add a face. You could just add so many different things to this to dress that up and make it your own. I did keep these rather basic, but I might go back and add a few things. I'm not sure. Depends on who I decide to give them to. And then that takes me on to this item. I had this cross that came off a Hobby Lobby sign for Easter time, and I had used the Hobby Lobby sign for something else. And I was initially thinking I might actually cut this cross and make it look more like an angel because it already sort of resembles a head and an arm and dress. But then I found this free decoupage paper on the graphicsfairy.com, and I just put in angels. And then this one happened to come up, which was a great fit. It looks like an angel in front of a cross, and had some beautiful florals. So I just went ahead and decoupaged that to fit the same general area as the decoupage paper, which meant that the top needed to be pieced together, but that was fine. After I got that decoupage top and bottom I went ahead and just tore off some of the florals at the base of the picture and then just added that to the top. And then once that was dry, took out my sander and sanded the edges, and then took out some antiquing wax and gave that some antiquing wax all around the edges specifically. I wiped that back just to make that look a little bit distressed and a little bit more vintage. And then once that was finished, I just went into my stash and came across some of the Dollar Tree lace ribbon and tied some on the top. And I think that this angel ornament came out very lovely. I love that it is in the shape of a cross, the true meaning of Christmas. And so I would love to know which of today's angels is your favorite, if there's any that you would like to reproduce. Make sure you've hit the bell and make sure you are subscribed so that you can see the amazing Christmas videos that I have planned for the next coming weeks. And I thank you so much for stopping by. I do appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.